And how's the tour going so far?
Yeah, it's going great. We just got started, and so um, first weekend was yeah, it was just really good, getting into a rhythm and
Yeah,
getting back out on the road tomorrow. So
awesome. And I want to ask. I mean, you've done Winter Jam quite a few times. Probably three, four, or five times now. Is there anything different this year than there has been in the past? I mean, is it when you've done Winter Jam? Because Winter Jam, it's a completely different animal as far as the tour. I mean, when you've done it a couple times, does it get easier to get into the swing of things with it?
yeah, I mean, I would say it definitely gets easier. Rhythm, relationships, those things are all it really is a family, and so I think those people that haven't been on it, they haven't experienced that, and so it might take a little while to get used to just the
Hmm.
camaraderie and the real friendship that's there.
Yeah.
But if those that have been out, it's just, man, it's like a family reunion. You get back together,
Yeah.
you're hanging together, praying together, goofing around together or whatever. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, and it seems like, you know, Band A does Winter Jam one year, and then probably 2 or 3 years later they do it again. But there was
Yes.
some of the same bands that they did it with the last time. So I mean, and speakers as well, like yourself. It's got to make it's got to be a good feeling when I'm going on this huge 3 month long tour, but it's with the same people I did it with last time. So it's like picking up right where you left off.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a bunch of strangers, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely. Um, One thing I wanted to ask you about that I think is really cool is Pulse that you founded. When you started ministry, that wasn't even, from what I understand, really in even a thought, but everything just kind of grew to the point where it became Pulse. Can you tell me about a little bit about that and that process and where things were at with you when you started ministry and how it grew to where Pulse is?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was honestly just I mean, I think probably like a lot of people that come and attend Winter Jam, I was just a young guy,
Hmm.
just trying to follow Jesus and trying to grow in my faith and and keep my faith. I was a college kid. There was a lot of my friends were walking away from their faith. A lot of kids were
Hmm.
getting into the party scene. There was a lot of kids on our campus that were dealing with substance abuse or self-harm, and we even had a couple suicides,
Wow.
and so Pulse really birthed out of desperation and prayer for our own lives, but just for our campus. I mean, we were just praying for God to use us, and that we would yeah, I mean, I think just take steps of faith, in the midst of brokenness, that if this message is real, then it should do something, when people are hurting. And so I wrote a paper in my English class of this secular, state university,
Hmm.
and the title was Pulse, and it was just a dream of, we had to write a proposal for something, we wanted to see happen on campus, and so my paper was about, a united effort to lift up Jesus and, be there for those that were hurting, and I laid out some kind of practical ways that I envisioned that happening, and it wasn't ever even I don't even think it was something I thought would happen. It was an assignment and it was a burden on my heart. But, I got a good enough grade on the paper that I was emboldened to hand it out to some others. And,
Hmm.
pretty soon it took a life of its own. We ended up having hundreds of students uniting in prayer, wanting to see this Pulse thing happen. And then we had 8,000 students come out and over 1,000 kids came to Christ. And even
Wow.
still, like Pulse was just the name of these events. It wasn't an organization or
Hmm.
ministry or whatever. But then we had students all over the country asking us to come, and so it was really just in response. I mean, me and my
Sure.
one of my best friends both quit our jobs and started raising support, and filed paperwork to form an official organization, kind of just saying, if God wants us to go, it'll go, and if He doesn't, then we got nothing to lose, and so
Right.
let's step out and and here we are. It's been 10, 11, 12 years now, and we've had
Wow.
4 or 5 million students come out, and now we have 40 people working full time on our Pulse team, doing a couple hundred events a year.
Right. Well, dude, that's just awesome, man. To like in that period of time, which that's a long period of time, but still not a long period of time at the same time. And I would assume that doing those events and everything helps you when it comes to Winter Jam, helps you prepare for something as big as Winter Jam is. Is there anything that you were able to take from the Pulse events and organization that's kind of helped you when it comes to speaking at Winter Jam? Because that's no like small, like that's 20, 30,000 people a night.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, it totally is. I think everything that we do, Winter Jam included, like our Pulse team and me as a speaker, like, I'm friends with a lot of, great godly men and
Hmm.
women who are out there, preaching the gospel and speaking. But it's really just them or maybe their wife or,
Hmm.
maybe one other person, and kind of their whole schedule is built out on just speaking at kind of events that are going on,
Right.
and whereas like our schedule and our lives are made up mostly of, things we're organizing, bringing groups together across the nation. And so when I speak at an event, we'll bring 5 or 10 people with us, and we are tangibly trying to invest in events. And so we have a prayer team on the road that's praying for students every night. We're rallying churches and youth leaders every night. We're
Hmm.
giving follow-up resources, gospels and devotional books every night. And then we have a digital, response system that, people can text in and literally talk to somebody, a digital counselor, and that goes long after the night, right? So those are all kind of things that, because of our work with Pulse, there's just an infrastructure in place that, we just love to serve alongside. If you have a big event or a big gathering, like we just
Hmm.
want to help add value and bring depth, and
Yeah.
we just want to help make sure these kids are getting connected with. And then obviously from a message side, yeah, I mean I'm regularly hanging out with teenagers and college kids, and so to have that level of understanding of where they're at, what they're going through, challenges that are faced in our day and age. Obviously, that shapes, the things I say and how we say them.
Hmm. Absolutely. One thing I love about Winter Jam is it focuses. It's a family event, but it really focuses on the next generation. It's the high schoolers and the middle schoolers and the kids. It's a great event for them because they're the future. And I feel like anymore, a lot of times they get ignored. A lot of times there's not a lot of stuff out there for them. And it's really good to see an event like Winter Jam or even the Rock and Worship Roadshow out there where they can really get plugged in and connected and have those tools there, not just during the event, but after, and have those resources to continue their journey, because that's what it comes down to. And it's really cool to see all of that and at the level that it's at.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, it's not nickel and diming,
Hmm.
the generation. It's trying to put our best out there, and
Yeah.
and I would just say it's on par with the messages they're getting from the world, whereas oftentimes, the strategies and methods we're putting in front of our teenagers are just very subpar. And so I,
Hmm.
I, I think it is just a great model, and I think we need more, we need more things of excellence that are, speaking the language of and, boldly proclaiming the gospel. And I think that's also something that is very unique about Winter Jam in particular is, every night of Winter Jam, there is a gospel message. Every night of Winter Jam, there is a response time. I mean, more and more, there's great tours,
Hmm.
but often the speaker is kind of just more dealing with child sponsorship or,
Yeah.
some need that's important, and it's certainly ministry. But, I mean, I would just say Winter Jam is very concerned and believing that there's lost people that are in the stands, and there's people addicted to, pornography or having a destructive relationship, that, how are we taking time, giving opportunity, and ministering to them?
Yeah, definitely. And especially with a band like Skillet on the lineup, there's a lot of people who maybe aren't even believers that are coming out because they like, Skillet or KB and stuff like that. So it's a really good ministry opportunity in that sense as well,
Yep.
which a lot of people don't even think of. But I know we're running short of time, but I got to ask you, of all of the bands on the lineup, I know a lot of people are pumped about Skillet, Carrie Job. Are there any artists on the lineup on the bill so far that maybe people may not necessarily think of, that being on the tour, you're like, they've got to come check out this artist? Who's the must see artist this year that maybe people may not think of?
Gosh, that's a good question. I really like Dan Bremnes is a new
Okay.
artist. He's kind of a little bit of a different feel, but worship, kind of little bit poppy, but just super good. Creative guy.
Awesome.
I also think that, people know Carrie Joe, but they
Yeah.
don't know Cody Carnes as well, which is her husband.
Hmm.
And Cody has his own music, and so a couple of the songs that are in Carrie's set are Cody songs.
Oh,
And
nice.
and personally, I'm almost a bigger fan of Cody than I am of Carrie now. And so
Nice.
yeah, so that's a couple things that I just think are great this year. I mean, every group
Yeah.
is awesome. From Jordan Feliz to, Building 429 to New
Yep.
Song to Skillet. It's
Yep.
all great. And KB gets people jumping up and down,
Hmm.
and Skillet blows out our eardrums, and so there's a little bit of everything.
Definitely, and we're excited. This will be probably my fifth or sixth winter jam, but we're excited because we're taking our daughter. She'll be 6 for her 6th birthday on February 10th here in Indianapolis.
Awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. She's excited and we're excited, and it's gonna be good, man. Dude, Nick, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me. This has been great, and I'm looking forward to seeing your message again, because you're probably, out of the speakers that Winter Jam has every year, I always look forward to you the most, and I don't know what it is. Maybe I just connect with it more, but I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing everything, man. Thank
No,
you so
man, I
much.
appreciate it. I appreciate the time, and thanks for what you're doing.